So far, Europe has not had a good start to 2025. The region is at the biggest risk of conflict in its history, and statistics indicate that the powerful U.S. economy is still outperforming its European counterpart. Given the growing likelihood of a sharp increase in military spending throughout Europe, can this also provide a much-needed boost to the region's economy, making Europeans safer and wealthier? That depends on the source of funding, taxes or borrowing, and the use of that funding. The Kiel Institute, a German economic think tank, recently stated that if defense expenditures are directed toward high-tech, locally produced weapons, they may greatly strengthen the Western world's industrial foundation and economic growth. Pete Hegseth, the U.S. Defense Secretary, called on Europe to assume responsibility for its own security last month. He stated that although the United States is still dedicated to NATO, it will no longer tolerate an imbalanced relationship which encourages dependency. The Trump administration then had discussions with Moscow to discuss settling the conflict in Ukraine, further separating itself from Europe, but without inviting representatives from Ukraine or the 27-member European Union. The U.S. withdrawal from Europe coincides with the 3-year-old conflict in Ukraine, which is happening just outside the EU borders. The European Union and the European continent are at greater risk of war than ever before, according to French Foreign Minister Jean-Noël Barrot this week in a radio program, echoing similar cautions in other places. According to the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, the 27-nation EU economy, which is the second largest in the world according to World Bank data, grew by just 0.9% last year, while the economy across the pond increased by 2.8%. French President Emmanuel Macron warned just a day earlier that Europe must be prepared for Washington to not remain by our side in the conflict between Russia and Ukraine, but he also stated that France will think about extending the protection of its nuclear arsenal to its allies. In a televised address on his official social media platforms, Macron declared, "I've decided to open the strategic debate on the defense by our deterrence of our allies on the European continent." He continued, "Whatever happens, the decision has always remained and will remain in the hands of the President of the Republic, French commander of the military."